Here's a tragic story from Black Myth. Picture this. The one you love has waited for you for 1,000 years, only to be met with cold, indifferent words.
Yaoguais care about reputation. All she cared about was lust.
Bajie's wife is gone, and his daughter looks at him with hopeless eyes. But to protect them, he quietly walks away. He's the kind of person who, when the whole world betrayed the great sage, stood by his side. And it's that very strength that gave him the courage not to reunite with his wife and daughter. In the story, Bajie was once Admiral Tianpeng in the heavens, and he was deeply in love with the beautiful Chang'e. But there was another. A violet maiden loved him in secret. Year after year, behind Chang'e's beauty, she hid her secret affair with the Jade Emperor, something Tianpeng was never supposed to find out. Even as a marshal, he was cast down to the mortal world for this. It shows that the heavens aren't the noble, upright place we often imagine. When Tianpeng fell to earth, he turned into a hideous pig, and every woman who saw him ran away. In this world, it seemed there was no place for someone as ugly as Bajie. One day, a lonely Bajie stumbled upon a group of female Yaoguai bathing. He transformed into a fish to sneak a peek. But just as one of them turned around, he was hit with a rush of memories from his past as Tianpeng. The girl had recognized him, and she was none other than the Violet Maiden from before. With a gaze full of deep affection, she looked at him as if she had been waiting for him all this time. He revealed his true form. At this time, Violet Spider transformed into her Yaoguai form as well. In the Golden Cave, two burning hearts beat wildly as they hold each other close, memories flooding back. Violet Spider has descended from the heavens, having endured countless hardships and ultimately becoming a Yaoguai. Meanwhile, Pigsy's own journey of suffering unfolds. It's a relief. They're no longer alone. But this happiness is short-lived. Pigsy leaves without a word to continue his western journey. Son Wukong, following the orders of the Heavenly Court, wiped out the entire Spider-Guai clan, leaving only Violet Spider for Bajie to handle. Even though the Heavenly Court demanded her death, Bajie secretly spared her life. But for Violet Spider, this wasn't redemption. It was hell. As Bajie continued his journey to the west, the wounded Violet Spider had to survive by consuming the remains of her own kind. Over the long years, she grew old and bitter, never seeing the man she loved. Meanwhile, Bajie completed his quest and became a revered figure. But Violet Spider continued to wait, clinging to the hope of seeing him one last time, relying on Sun Wukong's roots to get that chance. Miraculously, Pigsy was captured by Violet Spider's daughters. Everyone thought that Violet Spider would eat this heartless man to extend her own life. But when Pigsy was brought to the bridal chamber, he went completely mad. Is Pigsy really such a despicable person, or is he hiding something with his last bit of consciousness? Yes, as he exhausted all his strength and completely lost his sanity, the first thing he said was,
"Hey, monkey, aren't you dead already? You're the one who ruined it all!" This time, I am staying here. You won't make me leave again!
In the midst of his endless rage, the appearance of the ancient mirror made him see his former self as Tianpeng. All the memories came flooding back, and the golden needle that drove him mad also fell away. However, when Pigsy finally regained all his memories and faced Violet Spider, he was overwhelmed by the deep, unforgettable love they once shared. Despite his previous inability to recall their past, he now shamelessly began to plead for mercy.
How I spared your life when he asked me to clean up the rest of your sisters? For me, beauty always comes first.
Good. Carry on with these nice words. Once I'm satisfied, I might lift my finger and tell you where to find it.
You wicked hag! Can't you see your old face? Still obsessed with all this lovey-dovey crap at this age? Ridiculous!
In that moment, all the tenderness and affection shattered. Violet Spider finally spoke her truth. She had long wanted to end Pigsy's life, but behind that anger was a deep, unresolved love and the pain of his coldness towards her and their child. This little girl was Pigsy's own flesh and blood. Yet Pigsy cruelly insulted her, calling her ugly and a bastard without even knowing who the father was. He coldly said that her suffering had nothing to do with him, and all he regretted was being too lenient in the past. Just then, the Destined One arrived. Facing such a formidable opponent, Violet Spider knew she couldn't win and had to flee to the surface in a hurry. There, she encountered Hundred-Eyed Taoist Master, a former ally who had once helped her but was now intent on taking the roots that sustained her life. Hundred-Eyed Taoist Master told her that he couldn't concern himself with her fate right now. His priority was to defeat the Destined One. After a grueling battle, the Destined One's group finally triumphed over Hundred-Eyed Taoist Master. But Violet Spider's life was drawing to a close. Even at this point, Pigsy remained cold and detached, not even willing to meet the disappointed gaze of his own child. It was unbelievable. At first I thought, sure, maybe he's a bit of a womanizer, but no one could be this heartless, right? But then, with Violet Spider's last words, I realized it had all been foreshadowed from the start.
You haven't changed a bit. You fool.
Looking at the animation in the later Bull Demon King chapter, when Sun Wukong and Bull Demon King caused chaos in heaven, they kept rebelling against authority, only to fail each time. Finally, Wukong thought maybe obedience was the only way to get peace for himself and his brothers.
Your brother, I've disciplined. Your boy, I've given away. Your wife's fan. Today, I'll take it with me too. Find a master and serve the right. It's the only path left for the likes of us. Don't you understand, brother?
At that time, Bajie had already followed orders and killed one of the Bull Demon King's favorite girl, pushing the Bull Demon King over the edge. He was determined to fight back no matter what. But the gods and Buddhas of the West are endless. No matter how hard you try, there's no defeating them all. When Wukong and his companions finally achieved enlightenment, this freedom-loving guy wanted to turn down the chance to become a Buddha and return to his Mount Huaguo. But heaven struck back hard. Even the Buddha's promise to remove his headband after he completed his journey was never fulfilled. Both the Bull Demon King and Sun Wukong faced tragic consequences for defying the heavens. But what about Bajie? As a pig demon cast down by the Jade Emperor's watchful eye, what could he possibly do to ensure Violet Spider's safety? At that crucial moment, as Sun Wukong's roots were pulled from Violet Spider's body, Bajie watched as the life slowly faded from her. He had every reason to leave, yet something made him turn back. What stopped him wasn't his fallen lover. It was their child, the one he couldn't protect. When he saw the disappointment in his daughter's eyes, it hit him harder than anything else. He felt utterly powerless, weighed down by emotions he didn't know how to handle. Even then, he turned away, knowing that walking away was the only choice left. But it didn't make it any easier. In that moment, he hated himself for always making the wrong decisions and leaving everything behind. It was a decision no man wants to make, But sometimes you have no choice but to leave, even when it breaks you. Bajie slowly walked toward the son Wukong's roots. This was the only way to revive his master, but it was also the only chance to save his beloved. After witnessing the suffering of the world and the corruption in heaven over the years, Bajie felt that he alone was powerless to protect his family. He believed that the only hope was to bring Sun Wukong back to life. But why is he considered foolish? Because he never actually asked Violet Spider about her choice. No matter how many times he went through hardships, that girl would always choose to face everything alongside him. After all, she was willing to become a monster and descend from heaven to the mortal realm just to be with him. Her unwavering love and determination were crystal clear. As the daughter who understands Violet Spider the best puts it,
Though her joy is borrowed, it's still joy before it's returned.
even if she never knew why you left in the first place. This is the story of Pigsy and Miss Violet Spider in Black Myth.